what? I love him. Hey book besties, welcome back to another reading vlog. The day is finally here. I am going to be reading Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I feel like I am the last person to read this book because everyone and their mums have read this book already, but I've just been putting it off because there is so much hype surrounding this book that I'm honestly nervous to read it at this point. But I want to see what the hype is all about, and I also don't know what this book is about. All I know is that the main characters are named Miles and Tate, and it is brother's best friend and friends with benefits. That's all I know, and apparently a lot of people have cried. So let's see if I ugly cry to ugly love. I'm gonna start reading this book now, but I want to see what the dedication is, because honestly that is my favorite part of like starting a book, is reading the dedications, because I don't know, I just enjoy it. So the dedication for this book is for my two very best friends who also happen to be my sisters, Lynn and Murphy. Actually, I had no idea Colleen Hoover even had siblings, so fun fact for me. Anyways, let's get into reading Ugly Love. Oh my god. I've literally only read the first sentence of chapter 1, like just the first sentence. First sentence is, somebody stabbed you in the neck, young lady. Boy, does Colleen Hoover know how to start her books. I'm already intrigued. Like, that is just the first sentence. What the heck? Also, it says chapter 1 Tate, so I'm going to assume that the book is going to be in dual POV, so I am freaking here for it. Okay, so the first sentence is actually in reference to a birthmark that Tate has on her neck, and the person that says that to her is like this elderly person, and apparently the placement of your birthmark is how a person lost a battle in their past life. That's why he says like someone stabbed you in the neck. I can't believe I'm already like updating you on my thoughts, and we haven't even gotten past the first page yet. I've just finished chapter 1 of Ugly Love, so here are my thoughts so far. Tate has actually moved in with her brother in San Francisco because she is going to be finishing her master's degree in nursing. While she's moving into his apartment, there is this drunk guy passed out in front of her apartment, and she's obviously freaked out, so she calls her brother, and her brother's like, I'll handle it, I'll call Miles, who is like his co-worker, and they're both pilots. Excuse me, what? Love that. So yeah, they're both pilots, and he is also Tate's brother's neighbor. But then turns out Miles is actually the drunk guy passed out in front of the apartment. So not the best first impression that Tate gets off of Miles. I have so many questions, like why is he so drunk and passed out in front of the apartment door? And he keeps mumbling about a girl named Rachel, so I'm just like, is this an ex? Like, what? And he keeps like saying, I'm sorry Rachel, like I know I hurt you, and I'm just like, what is going on? I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is like a little setup already at the start of the book, and I'm hoping that Tate is not going to be like a rebound girl. I think we're gonna start getting some answers because chapter 2 is in Miles' perspective, and it is 6 years earlier, so maybe 6 years earlier is Rachel and Miles. I don't know, but he keeps mumbling about Rachel and accidentally calls Tate Rachel as well, so I don't know who this Rachel woman is, but I'm sure we're gonna find out who she is and why she is so significant and why Miles is passed out and mumbling about her. I have now reached the 100-page mark, so I am 33% of the way through, so I thought now would be the perfect time to jump on here and give you guys a little update on how I'm going. So as I mentioned, this is in dual POV, which I absolutely love, but the only thing that's kind of annoying me a little bit is that Miles's perspectives, all of it so far is set in the past 6 years ago, which is actually when he met and fell in love with Rachel, who is the girl that he was mumbling about in chapter 1. And they're having this like secret forbidden romance 6 years ago. Just based on the situation they were in, they were just never gonna work out. And the reason why was, I guess, kind of like a plot twist. I don't know, but it had me shook because I was not expecting it. I'm really hoping that as the book goes on, we do get to see Miles's perspective in the present day, because from Tate's perspective, we don't really get to see, I mean, we do get to see Miles, but Miles is very closed off and you can't really know what he's thinking, and he doesn't really show much emotion on his face, so he's just really hard to read. And I'm just like, I just want to know what Miles is thinking, because obviously Miles 6 years ago is not going to be the same Miles in present day, just based on what is slowly unraveling from what happened 6 years ago. But so far I have just reached chapter 13, and Miles and Tate have just made their friends with benefits deal, because Miles has not been in a relationship or kissed anyone outside of Rachel, which was 6 years ago. And so Tate actually comes up with this idea like, you don't want to be emotionally attached to anyone or be in a relationship with anyone. I am very career focused at the moment, but we both feel an attraction to each other. Why don't we just form a friends with benefits deal? But Miles sets 2 rules for Tate, and that is to never ask him about his past and to never expect a future with him. Also, I'm going to assume that Miles doesn't have a good relationship with his family, because he ends up spending Thanksgiving with Tate and her family, because obviously Miles is best friends with Tate's brother, which is actually where Tate and Miles end up forming their friends with benefits deal. So yeah, that is what is going on at the moment. I'm going to continue reading though, and I will give you an update later on. It is a lot later now. I had a shower, I got changed into my PJs, I cooked dinner. I made creamy chicken pasta, Nando's style. This is the first time I made it. And it smells so good. I'm so excited to eat. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm rambling. I just came on here to give you another update. I haven't actually gotten that far into this book since I last spoke to you, but I am up to page 143, which is chapter 17. So I'm almost halfway through now. Tate is so in deep with Miles. It's just not gonna end well. I can already like sense something's definitely gonna come, especially since it's Coho. She's well known for plot twists that you just don't expect. So I'm like sitting here and I'm just like, what's gonna happen next? But also I can kind of see that Miles is definitely holding back, because he's also starting to catch feels, I feel like, but he's holding back because of whatever happened with Rachel, which I'm sure we'll find out soon as well. But oh my gosh guys, there's this one character in this book that I just absolutely adore, who is a very minor character, but it's Cap, who was the elderly guy that we were first introduced to in the first sentence. That's Cap. I just love him. He's just so sweet. Also, it's really interesting because Miles's apartment is very bland. He has no decor. He doesn't even have any curtains, nothing. It's like an empty apartment basically, even though he's been living at the apartment for 4 years, which is like so sad. Then out of the blue, he ends up getting curtains and a rug, everything for his apartment. His apartment is slowly turning from plain white to adding color. I don't know if that's meant to be like signifying anything. That's like me like really analyzing this book, but I'm just like, the more they're getting closer, I feel like his apartment is slowly coming to life as well. That is the update. I'm going to enjoy my pasta. If I don't speak to you again tonight, I will give you guys an update in the morning. It is the next day. I did some reading off camera last night and I got up to page 198, so I've only got this much left to go. So we are making great progress. I'm like very contradicted, I think that's the right word for it, between Tate deserves better, but I just love them so much together. And I feel like when we first got introduced to him in the start of the book, he never cracked a smile. He was super closed off, and he's still kind of closed off, but he's slowly like opening up and he's smiling whenever he's around Tate. Tate, and like he's now decorating his apartment, and he's already like more open when he's with Tate. I don't know, I feel like I'm just a sucker for broken people. Oh, that's so bad. Also, I did mention I absolutely love the side character Cap, who is the elderly man at the apartment complex. His friendship with Tate is just so sweet because Cap is like the only person that knows about Miles and Tate because they're kind of keeping it a secret, and Tate is just like crying over Miles because like she has completely fallen in love with him and she just doesn't feel like she's enough, and he's like trying to cheer her up and he cracks a knock knock joke to try and make her laugh. I love him, he's so sweet. Anyways, I'm gonna continue reading. I'm up to chapter 22, which is in Miles's perspective, which is still set 6 years ago. This chapter is, I believe, Rachel and Miles actually telling their parents that they are together, I think, because something's happened and they're kind of forced to tell them. But I don't know how this is gonna go down, so this is gonna be interesting. We have just been introduced to Clayton, who is a huge part of Miles's past, and I would probably say he should be a huge part of Miles's current life in present day as well, but there's been no mention of a Clayton or a sign of a Clayton anywhere in Miles's life or his apartment to suggest that Clayton even exists. I don't know, my theory is something bad has happened to Clayton, and also I don't really want to mention who Clayton is because I feel like it's kind of a spoiler. It is a spoiler actually. So I'm just gonna say Clayton is a part of Miles's life 6 years ago, but I don't think he's a part of his life in present day just because it doesn't seem like he has anyone in his past in his present day life apart from his best friend Ian. I don't know, that's just what my theory is at the moment. I'm like trying not to say too much because I'm trying to make this reading vlog spoiler free, but yeah, that is what's going on at the moment. Oh, also, oh my god, awkward moment. Tate's brother, Corbin, literally almost walked in on Miles and Tate. So he's found out that Miles and Tate are friends with benefits and it doesn't go down well. Also, Miles is like slowly starting to open up, but I also feel like it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Obviously, one of Miles's rules is to never ask about his past, but now he's literally just said to Tate, you would have loved me from the ages of 13 to 16. I failed at pretty much everything, especially football. And like, I know it's such a small detail. I can imagine for him that is such a freaking big deal because he doesn't talk about anything that happens in his past. For him to like reveal that little detail to Tate, I was just like, we're seeing progress. We're getting there. Oh my god, guys, I just want to give Tate a big freaking hug. The absolute last thing I want is for him to see me cry. As much as I know I'm too far gone to continue treating this as casual sex, I'm also too far gone to stop it. I'm terrified to lose him for good, so I sell myself short and take what I can from him, even though I know I deserve better. And then Miles is like, if I ask you something, will you be honest with me? Are you still doing this with me because you think I'll change my mind, because you think there's a chance I'll fall in love with you? Because I can't, Tate, I just... And then his voice like fades away. This is what Tate's thought process is. I analyze his words and the fact that he said I can't rather than I won't. I want to ask him why he can't. Is he scared? Is it because I'm not right for him? Is he afraid he'll break my heart? I don't ask him because none of his answers to these questions would reassure me. None of these scenarios is reason enough to absolutely deny a heart happiness. And then Miles says, Tate, I know I'll regret saying this, but I want you to hear it. If I were capable of loving someone, it would be you. Frick. Oh my god. Just finished chapter 32, which was Miles's perspective. I knew something was gonna happen, but I didn't expect it to be that. I finished that chapter and straight away I just like looked at the cover and I was like, oh my goodness, the cover makes so much sense. You definitely cannot blame Miles for being the way he is now after going through something like that, but at the same time I wish he just would have told Tate what was going on. My heart is literally breaking for Tate right now because Miles accidentally calls her Rachel while they're doing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Imagine being in love with someone and them calling you by their ex's name by accident. No, Tate is like, that name, it said it all. I'll never have his past because she has it. I'll never have his future because he refuses to give it to anyone who isn't her. Tate deserves the entire world. Okay, so we've just had a reference to the title. I love when books have the title somewhere in the actual book itself. Ugly love becomes you, consumes you, makes you hate it all. Makes you realize that all the beautiful parts aren't even worth it. Without the beautiful, you'll never risk feeling this. You'll never risk feeling the ugly. So you give it up. You never want love again, no matter what kind it is, because no type of love will ever be worth living through the ugly love again. I'll never let myself love anyone again, Rachel. So I guess this kind of tells us why Miles is so incapable of love, because he's kind of sworn off of love after the traumatic experience he had with his relationship ending with Rachel, and he never really, I guess, gets closure from the end of the relationship because of the way it actually officially ended. I still can't get over him calling Tate Rachel though. Oh my gosh, that broke my heart. I just finished chapter 36, which was in Miles's perspective, which is also in present day, not in the past. Our first perspective that's in present day from Miles. Turns out that the elderly man, Cap, has pretty much known Miles since he was a kid, or known his family since he was a kid, and he knows everything that's happened with him and Rachel, his past, and apparently Miles has been talking to Cap about Tate, everything that's been going on, what he's feeling, everything like that, and I'm shocked because I was not expecting that at all. Basically, Cap kind of just tells Miles he needs to confront his past, and the way he needs to confront his past is actually going and seeing Rachel. So he's gonna go see Rachel after 6 years has passed without having any contact with her. This is gonna be interesting because chapter 37 is actually in Rachel's perspective. I just finished Ugly Love, so let's talk about it. I didn't cry while reading this book, although it is very emotional, so I did get emotional while reading, but I didn't actually like cry or anything while reading. This book does have a happy ending, so I was really happy with the way the ending played out and that Tate and Miles got their happy ending after all. I also loved that the book was also set in Miles's perspective in the past, because if you didn't get that, you wouldn't have really felt connected to Miles. Literally broke my heart to think that Miles had spent 6 years of his life blaming himself for what happened, thinking that he was not capable of loving anyone because he would think that he would just end up hurting them. That was just really sad to read, that he was in that position. I'm so glad that he did get closure for himself, and that helped him heal and grow and move on and feel that he can take that risk with falling in love. And it really does come full circle, because when he does go back to Tate just like opens up her new apartment door and Miles is sitting in front of his apartment, which is exactly how they first met in the first place. So I love that like full circle moment. He was actually out there for 6 hours, which I thought like 6, very coincidental that that's the time, considering 6 years ago is when he went through that period of time, and then he was like outside the apartment door for 6 hours, like number 6. I just love this. Miles, you're looking at me like you fell in love with me, and then Miles is like, I didn't fall in love with you, Tate, I flew. Because he's a pilot, get it? Whoever coined the phrase, I love you to death, obviously never experienced the kind of love Tate and I share. If that were the case, the phrase would be, I love you to life, because that's exactly what Tate did. She loved me back to life, which is literally exactly what she did. Like, he was so closed off and so alive, but not living, and Tate really brought him back to life. And I just loved seeing that. And then the epilogue was just so freaking cute. Oh my God, you guys. For a rating, I am probably gonna rate this book a 4.5 stars. Just loved Tate and Miles together. I have such a soft spot for Miles, and even though like the start of their friends with benefits situationship was, you know, a little bit of a red flag, I just loved the character growth, and I just loved seeing a broken person being able to kind of come back to life through love. Yeah, adored this book. 4.5 stars. Highly recommend checking it out. Just check trigger warnings before you read it. So that is the end of my reading vlog for Ugly Love. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if you have read this book, because I would love to know your thoughts, and also let me know what other books you want me to do reading vlogs for, because I have no idea. But if you did enjoy watching, please give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I post book videos as well as lifestyle and home content as well. Follow me on my Instagram. I have a personal Instagram and a bookstagram that I share with my friend Ali, and I'll also have my Goodreads and my Amazon wishlist linked down below as well. And I will see you all next week with a new video. Bye!